The Galaxy S20 is Samsung's flagship phone from last year. It carries a ton of features that have been dropped in the newer Galaxy S21 and it's also considerably cheaper now. But should you buy the Galaxy S20 in 2021 or look at other options in the same price bracket? After all, it's a very competitive price bracket. I'm Rohan from TechieTechTech and let's assess whether the Galaxy S20 is any good in 2021. Here we go. When we talk about the design of the Galaxy S20, two words pop into my mind: minimal and understated. I mean, look at the cosmic grey variant that I have here. It looks premium, classy and even stealthy, but at the same time, it's a very mainstream design with a camera module to the top left. It's basically the design language that's followed by every Samsung smartphone from 2020. It does not stand out at all and the somewhat mundane color options from Samsung do not help its case. However, not all of us want our smartphones to grab attention, and if that's the case with you, the Galaxy S20 is as understated a smartphone as you could possibly buy today. When it comes to the build and in-hand feel, I feel that this phone is one of the few phones that is nearly perfect. The size is small enough for one-handed use and yet large enough to carry a decently big display which is suitable for movie watching or even gaming. The front and back are made of curved Gorilla Glass 5 and feel extremely premium in hand. The phone itself is surprisingly light and is honestly a pleasure to hold. The only gripe that I have with it is that the glossy glass back attracts a lot of smudges and fingerprints. It can end up looking gross if you don't wipe it with a cloth from time to time. Other than that, when it comes to the in-hand feel, the Galaxy S20 feels very well put together and is still among the best of the best in the entire smartphone industry. What's not the best though is the battery life. I usually tend to talk about battery life later on in the review, but it has been such a big negative in my user experience that I have to talk about it first. This phone cannot even last a day when it comes to heavy use. I found myself charging this by 6 in the evening if I started with a full charge in the morning. Even my iPhone 12 mini lasted longer. Now of course, the battery life could be extended with some power saving moves like using the 60Hz refresh rate instead of 120, but doesn't that kill the point of getting a 120Hz display in the first place? I just wish that the battery life was slightly better. Even if it made it through a full day, I would have been satisfied, but right now, my biggest complaint with the Galaxy S20 is definitely the battery life. Now that we are done with the biggest negative, let's talk about the biggest positive, the display. It is simply the best display I've used on any smartphone. Seriously, the colors are beautiful, the text is crispy and the saturation, while on the higher side, makes everything look larger than life. I love this display and it is honestly my favorite feature of this phone. If you get yourself a Galaxy S20, your photos would look more lively, your games would look more immersive, and even the text that you read will be so much smoother and cleaner. I know I sound kinda crazy, but genuinely, Samsung is known to be the best of the best when it comes to making smartphone displays, and the Galaxy S20 is living proof of that. Let's talk about the software and performance now. My Galaxy S20 is on the latest OneUI 3.0 backed by Android 11 and the experience has mostly been good. It's all just very well put together and works like clockwork. The animations are extremely smooth. There are even a ton of customizability options if you want to dive into that. The huge feature load can get overwhelming, but I do appreciate that it is all well polished and not half-baked and full of bugs. Also, you get a version of Samsung's ecosystem apps for every Google service in your phone. So there's Samsung Bixby for Google Assistant, the Galaxy Store for the Play Store, or even the Samsung Internet Browser for Google Chrome. It even comes preloaded with a bunch of Microsoft apps, but thankfully, at least you can uninstall them if you don't want to use them. Now, some users are also reporting seeing ads throughout the UI elements, and while I have not seen them personally, this entire ad scenario just does not fit well into the whole premium flagship smartphone experience. I just hope that Samsung entirely does away with it. A word on the performance. It has mostly been smooth for me on my Exynos variant, and I can only imagine how much smoother it would be on the Snapdragon variants that are sold in some regions. Now day-to-day stuff like texting and social media runs smoothly without as much as a stutter, but as you turn the heat up, the Exynos CPU starts to struggle quite visibly. Now don't get this phone if you're into power intensive stuff like video editing or even gaming. I also noticed minor heating issues when using the phone for an extended period continuously, but if I am being totally honest with you, it wasn't a problem at all. Now one positive of the whole Samsung software experience is guaranteed 3 years of software support. One of those years is already up, but if you get the Galaxy S20 now in 2021, you can expect to get software updates for 2 years till 2023. Let's talk about the cameras now. I'm not going to go in depth, and if you want that, I'll have a link in the description for one of our older review videos. Right now, I'm going to talk about using the Galaxy S20 as a camera in my day-to-day life. Now, I'm not a camera expert, I just point at things and click a photo hoping for the best results. The Galaxy S20 for a user like me delivers one of the best camera experiences of any Android smartphone. The photos are usually very vibrant and pleasing. Low light photos also look excellent. I do have two complaints though. One, the selfie camera does a lot of over smoothing by default but looks great once you turn it off. Secondly, in low light environments, the Galaxy S20 takes a couple of seconds to analyze the whole scene and focus before getting ready to shoot. If you click a photo during these 2 seconds, the result is a blurry mess. Of course, these are not deal breakers, just minor annoyances that I faced in my user experience. Let's talk about the whole phone call experience now. It is amazing. Seriously, I don't know what Samsung does differently from other phones, but Samsung smartphones always tend to have the best phone call experience of every smartphone in the industry. The signal catching capacity is amazing, the signal retention is amazing, the clarity is industry leading, and even the earpiece, loudspeaker and mic are crystal clear. There's just something about Samsung antennas, I don't know what it is, but there's something which makes them perform noticeably better than the competition. Now for the conclusion. As you must have seen in this video, the Galaxy S20 comes with a few flaws of its own, and yet I love using it and it continues to be one of my favorite phones. Why? Well, because getting a well-built phone at this size with such a gorgeous display and a polished software experience is quite hard. Of course, I wish it had better battery life and I wish it had a more powerful CPU, but it is what it is. I can't really do anything about it. So while the Galaxy S20 is definitely not for everyone, it is just the right smartphone for a few people. Whether you're one of those few people is for you to figure out. I hope this video helped you out, and if it did, help us back by liking this video, sharing it and hitting that subscribe button. This has been Rohan from TechieTechTech and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.